Hola, oi, bem-vindo ao meu canal. Welcome back to Practice Makes Polyglot podcast.
Every time.
One day I'll get it, okay? One day I'll say it, no problem. Same problema, okay? One day. But not today. Today's not the day. Anyway, yes, welcome back to the channel where we talk about tips, tricks, and methods for learning and retaining languages. And today we're going to be talking about some of those study tips and tricks. My target language is Portuguese, and I'm here with my husband, o meu marido.
Oi.
Wow, que masculine. So masculine, eh? Anyway, yeah.
So tell me about the study habits or ways to study that will help you learn a language faster.
Geez Louise, that's a very broad prompt. Why don't we just talk about what faster means first? How about that?
Okay.
So I know that many people out there use a little app with a little green owl. I'm not going to talk.
Mine's is always red for some reason.
I'm not going to speak poorly of it. It can be fun. However, there are pitfalls to it. And when we look at languages such as Portuguese, Italian, Spanish as an English speaker, according to the Foreign Service Institute, these are categorized as easy languages to learn. They're some of the easiest ones that we should be able to get pretty quickly. And as a matter of fact, because of this, if you were to be a foreign service officer and learn a foreign language, you would be in the Language Institute for only 48 days.
Yeah, but they are immersed in it.
Yes, they are. I was waiting for you to for that to click. I was like, he'll call me on that. Yes, they are immersed. From the moment they get in to the moment they leave, all of their instructors, everybody around them, except their peers, of course, will be speaking in that target language.
Including their peers. You can get kicked out of the program if you talk in your native
After a certain point, yes. After a certain point. Day one, you're not going to know enough to do that.
Depending on which service you're doing. If you're let's say you're doing it for the French army, if you speak English, you're kicked out.
Well, I'm talking in the U.S.
I think it's a lot of the same in the U.S. because they don't want to break that immersion.
In the U.S., there's a certain threshold. You are allowed on the first day. I believe it's the first day, maybe even two, where you are limited with a few phrases, but you are not kicked out immediately.
Always a day or two behind.
Anyway, okay. So the U.S., yes, we here give it 48 days. 10 hours a day is what they're doing there for just learning and being immersed, surrounded by the language. So obviously that's not going to be feasible for most average people, especially here in the U.S. Those of us who know, most of us have 9-to-5 jobs, if not a 9-to-5, multiple part-time jobs just to make ends meet. Anyway, I just had an existential crisis for a moment. Sorry about that.
Exactamente.
So we have to find ways to squeeze studying in. Now, if they're learning these languages essentially in 480 hours, but really truly we're taking 24 hours in a day and multiplying that by 24 because they're supposed to be also speaking it off the clock as well. Honey, can you do the math? What's 24 times 48? A lot. Yeah. Okay. Almost 1,000 hours, right? Because 48 close to 50, 24 close to 25.
Don't worry about it. It's a lot.
Right. Anyway.
It's a whole lot.
Actually, I guess it's 2,000. Anyway.
We're not here for math.
We're not here for math. I'm not doing a math lesson. It's a lot. It's a lot of time that they spend immersed, but we don't have that out in the normal world, the unmilitarized world. What we do have, though, is usually a little time before work and maybe a little time after if we're not bogged down with other things. So then that might come down to what's the best time of day to study, right? I mean, I know for me, I used to be a morning bird, but now I'm not really a night owl, getting closer to that. My husband, on the other hand, he could stay up till 2 or 3.
I come alive in the nighttime.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So he's a night owl.
Second reference to owls in this episode already. Wow, an angry red owl looks over her shoulder. The other one.
Yep. It's not angry. It's a happy owl. It's a cookie jar.
It's Duolingo coming for you. I heard you talking.
Wow. Anywho, the best time of day to study. There's been a lot of research about this. So researchers have found that the best time of day to study largely depends on what your goal is. If you're looking to learn new concepts, you need to do it while your brain is fresh. First thing in the morning, maybe not first thing, obviously get out of bed, have your coffee, eat your cereal. But in the morning when your brain is still fresh, not overloaded with a bunch of stuff, and when you still have that, dewy elasticity from all that lovely nighttime sleep. But if your goal is to maintain it or retain whatever you've learned, then you want to do that before bed. You want to do that in the evening time because that's when long-term storage is built up in your brain. Now, how can we utilize this to, really maximize our learning capacity? I think the obvious answer is break your study sessions up. And no, I'm not saying study for 2 hours each day, an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. Who even has 2 hours each day to just relax?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Tragic.
Yeah, I'm okay. But no, you would have, again, time in the morning, time at night. So in that regard, I want to introduce a concept that I like to call the 4 quarters.
Okay, so that sounds a lot like more math. What are we doing? I'm so confused.
Yeah, okay.
What are the 4 quarters? Look,
quarters.
just so you know, she doesn't tell me about these things beforehand. I'm learning along with you. Go ahead.
Okay, so the 4 quarters is basically the concept of breaking up, the learning and practice of a language into 4 15-minute sessions. Now, if that sounds a lot like using Duolingo, kind of, but we'll get to that in a moment. In this method, I like to break, again, 1 hour study up into 4 15-minute sessions. And I don't mean studying the same thing necessarily 4 times. I mean using speech for 15 minutes, using writing for 15 minutes, using reading for 15 minutes, and using listening for 15 minutes. Now, sometimes I combine these things, and my 15-minute session might look more like 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening, but I might be reading and listening at the same time, or writing and speaking at the same time, or reading and speaking at the same time, or listening and writing at the same time. You catch my drift?
I got you. I'm starting to get you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have, again, 4 ways that we generally produce language, right? Produce or receive language. We have listening and reading, where we're receiving. And then we have the production, where we are writing and speaking. And all 4 of those are, if you want to be really fluent, kind of essential in order to help you really maximize your learning potential.
I can dig it.
Yeah? Some people don't really want to learn how to write in another language or read in another language. And while I understand that, I still advocate to at least get the basics down, at least write the vocabulary words that you want to learn, that you want to remember. At least write your oh my goodness, I can see it in my head.
Your hopes and dreams.
Yes, write your hopes and dreams in another language. No, write your, why can I not think of what it is called when you take your verb and you transform it from first person to third person?
Tense?
No, that's time period.
Possession? Possession?
No,
You're
just
asking the wrong
stop.
person.
Just
I
stop.
was in advanced
Oh my
math in
God.
school.
Conjugation.
I can't even do that anymore.
Your verb conjugations.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's the end of a long day because, again, as we said before, most Americans don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, yes, but I highly recommend writing your conjugations, at least a sentence for each conjugation, just to really get that memory in, because you're not just, when you write, you're not just producing, you're also using a kinesthetic, a physical touch, a a action to remember something. So you're connecting, your brain is making that connection between your hand and your memory. It's helping you learn that language by having your hand do it. There's a lot of proof, there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of studies that have been done on college students and their ability to learn and retain information in school. And researchers have found that college students who write their notes during class retained more information and had better test scores than students who typed their information or just took home the slides from the professor. They had even worse scores. So unless you're extremely studious and you're like, let me go back and review this all the time, you'll learn faster and you'll learn better by just trying to write out what it is that you are learning.
You know what? That makes so much sense because I was one of those people that was like, why do I need to learn how to write and read when I just want to communicate with people? But then you get into other methods of learning, which is reading, and then you get other methods of learning of writing poetry. I've watched a lot of people who are polyglots or hyper polyglots, and they all have their methods. And a lot of people say reading, or hey, write a journal every day, or so and so and such and such. Something we'll talk about more on this podcast at some point, getting down to different forms of ways that people can learn. But because this won't be the only time we talk about ways to learn things. Obviously, there are a million of them, and we'll try to add at least one into every episode. But yeah, I think that is very important. Now, I still don't plan on writing anybody love letters in Portuguese.
Not even me?
No, I'll just say it to you.
But I want to remember forever.
It didn't, I don't know, record it or something. I don't know. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and a recorder can record as many. So,
wow.
I know, poetic. See what I mean? Poetry. Now, imagine if I said that in Portuguese.
Wow. Okay. Okay. As you just pointed out a second ago, reading is also extremely important. I pointed this out in the cognates video, but when you read, you can also take the time to highlight words that you already know because of cognates. And you can also use that as a way, not just the cognates, but you can use reading and highlighting as a way to find words that you don't know yet or to study grammar. Oftentimes, when we're reading, and this is something that I think a lot of, specifically Americans, because again, our literacy rates are lower than what they could be. But when you're reading, you're also learning the structure of a language. Whether you intend to or not, whether you really wanted to, you really cared to, or you didn't, you do learn the structure of a language and you learn some of the grammar, like unintentionally. It's fabulous. So that's part of why I recommend 15 minutes reading, 15 minutes writing. When it comes to writing, you mentioned somebody who keeps a language journal. I do too. 10 to 15 minutes every evening, write sentences using the words that I learned that day, or maybe just a recap of the day, or my hopes and dreams. And,
I really hope and dream that somebody would press subscribe right now.
Please. But yeah, no. Yeah, I take that time to do that. Also, speaking for 15 minutes, that might sound daunting, especially when you're just starting out and the only phrases you might know is o meu nome é, my name is, eu tenho, however many years old you have. Like, you may only know a few phrases and it might be daunting at first to speak those out loud, but there are other ways to also practice speaking out loud. You can listen to something online, and even just if you're watching YouTube, for instance, find a channel that you like. I keep going back to BBC Brazil. There's also plenty of commentator channels, cooking channels in Brazilian Portuguese. Specifically, I'm talking about my own target language, but you can find what you're interested in that target language. And in the settings, you can slow it down to half speed, 95%, 70%, whatever it is you need. And you can just repeat what they're saying, what you hear. That's invaluable. I do that sometimes watching TV shows. So for instance, I've been watching Volta 15, which is Back to 15. And it's a cute little show. It's in Portuguese, and it's based in Brazil. And I like to watch the show with the subtitles so I can read while they're speaking. And when I see phrases that I don't quite get or they say something really quickly, I pause, I go back, and I pause it again when they get to that sentence so I can see what did they say. Now let me listen to it again. So there I'm reading and I'm listening. And then I say it out loud. So I'm getting 3 different methods in one. And then I write it down if I didn't understand it or if it was just too fast. I write it down so that way I can go back and say, what about that sentence confused me? Or how would I say that out loud? Because if it sounds like I'm taking really fast like this, then how would I know what they're saying? Oh, now I go back and I read it. If it sounds like they're speaking really fast like this. Oh, okay. So that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like in my mouth to say the words, to pronounce them, to shape them. It's important. But yes, 15 minutes, 4 times a day. You can break that up. You can put, again, two of the one of the input, one of the output together. You can do that for 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, 15 minutes in the morning if you're combining them, 15 minutes in the evening. But as long as you're doing that, combined with progressive overload.
Before we get to progressive overload, it's important to remember that you can do the 4x15 while doing your favorite app.
Yeah, yes, you can.
You don't have to do it by yourself. You can use whatever app. I'm not going to name them because they don't sponsor us. But
we're just starting out.
We're just starting out. But you can use your favorite app to do these things, which also makes it more fun. Just be aware that you should be aware of not losing engagement.
Yeah.
When you're using these apps, it should not be for a streak. If you want a streak, press like on this video if you're watching on YouTube and keep that streak alive. But other than that, don't worry about streaks. Worry about how you can get it done, because a lot of people get their streak and then just leave it alone for the day, and that's where people fall off.
That's an excellent point. That's actually not one I had even considered too when I was thinking about some of the pitfalls of using apps, specifically Duolingo, but using apps like it. The streak is an excellent point. I think also to the next point of what we were going to talk about, progressive overload, I don't think it, specifically Duolingo, I don't think it challenges enough throughout the course.
But it also doesn't have to be challenging. It just has to help you get your mission done. You know what I'm saying? Because there are certain things like you can set up Duolingo to where, and this is not a sponsor for Duolingo at all, because that's the opposite of what I would do with Duolingo, but it's also not all bad.
No.
You can set up to where you have to speak or where you don't speak. If you're at work and you don't have time to speak, or you don't want people hearing what you're doing, because
yeah, there is that feature.
Yeah, there are certain things you can do. Just make sure that you just go the extra step. When you see certain sentences that they present to you, write them down if you don't know them, because there's no way to save them on Duolingo.
Yes.
But you can write them down yourself and then practice them once you finish with your 15 minutes on Duolingo. You come back to it and not only have you read it, spoken out loud, you also have written it down.
Yes.
So.
And also, I mean, again, to the point that I'm making with progressive overload, again, great points. You can get the speaking aspect, you can get the reading aspect, you can get the typing aspect and the writing if you actually write it down and have that, again, that kinesthetic, physical aspect of learning. But the progressive overload part, for me personally, I felt like Duolingo was not showing me enough. Like, it would be the same phrase, and it felt like, even with the streak, it felt like it was the same phrases for months. And that gets so boring and so frustrating, and it makes you feel so stagnant, like you're just not learning. And that's the thing. Our brains are made to be like sponges, especially for language. Every human being on this earth, I feel, has the proclivity and the ability, the capability to learn another language. Because we are made to be social creatures. We are made to talk. We are made to share stories. Much of our history, and this is a whole side tangent, much of our history for human history has been oral. It's been oral history. It's only in the past, 5,000 years, 10,000 years that we've had written history. I mean, I guess if you count the Egyptians with hieroglyphics, longer than that.
Cave paintings and stuff like that.
I guess, but are cave paintings writings or are they images? Because we know hieroglyphics are definitely writing.
Are children's picture books writings, or are they?
Children's books also have pictures and words, though. Anyway, that's a whole different debate. I digress. My point is, you need that extra bump, that extra push to keep learning. You can't just stop at eu como manzanas or eu como massas. Sorry, I mixed up Spanish and Portuguese there, but eu como massas.
Shame.
I eat apples. Okay, cool. But if that's what I'm saying for the next 3 months, and then all of a sudden after 3 months you're gonna tell me eu como pão, I eat bread. You could learn so much more with that phrase. You even though they like, oh, Eli come pão. Okay, cool. But you can learn so much more than just that phrase.
Well, that's why I believe it should be up to the person learning to actually do that.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of people rely on these apps, specifically, again, like Duolingo, and just run with whatever they're taught there, instead of saying, let me take this phrase and let me go in my kitchen and write a grocery list of what foods I like to eat, so I can actually say these foods in my target language with my phrase.
Which is why Duolingo should be seen as and many other apps, Busuu and Rosetta Stone, they should be seen as partners and not teachers.
Yes, or Pimsleur even.
Even
Yep.
Pimsleur.
Yep.
Seen as partners and not teachers.
Yes. So with the progressive overload, it's kind of like, I'm sure many people will know what that is from watching fitness videos, but you specifically, each week, each month, however you want to think of it, each day, you add a little more pressure, a little more weight, so to speak, to that weight that you're carrying for this language. You push yourself a little harder to learn a little more. Whether that is, last week I learned, 20 verbs. This week I'm going to learn 20 more and keep practicing my 20. Or that is, I learned 3 phrases and this week I'm going to learn 25 different ways to use it. Or I'm going to say it 25 different times. But you want to keep pushing yourself to actually use the language and grow it. Don't just let yourself get stagnant and, eu como massas. That's all I can say. Well, what else do you eat?
Massas.
No sé. I don't know. Massas. Like,
Massas, pão.
yeah, pão, massas, leite.
Como se diz collard greens?
Yeah. Excuse me. So you want that progressive overload to gain your brain muscles. All right. Now, let's move on a little bit. I have 2 more smaller concepts to talk about. I don't know if we have time for that or not. He's giving me the eye.
Let's go for it.
Okay. And that has to do with note cards. For one, different methods that you can use, but one that I think is really helpful in particular with language, because language should be something that you are practicing every day, is called the Leitner method or Leitner method. So with this, you take 3 to 5 tabs, so to speak, and I'm just going to show you my cards. Just pick them up real quick. Sorry, that was loud. Take 3 to 5 cards. I have my tabs here, and each tab represents whether something is daily, weekly, monthly to be studying. And no, not all these cards are filled out, so don't think that I'm like a master of anything yet. But the point of it is that when you learn a new word or you learn a new phrase, a new verb, whatever, you want to study it daily until you have that mastered, to which then you can put it in your weekly section. On your weekly section, obviously those words you study weekly. If you've mastered those and you're like, you know what, I remember these super easy, you move them to monthly. If you're remembering them monthly, congrats. You got them down. They're in there. They're not going anywhere. But you want to make sure that you got them. You can also break it down into 5 tabs if you want to do it more frequently. You can do it daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, etc. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world would I want to organize all these note cards and keep track of, what I'm studying daily, weekly, and monthly? That seems like a lot of work. Sure, but it's also helping you not having to revisit old material.
I'm trying to figure out what that is called. It's called spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition?
Spaced repetition.
I've not heard that phrase before. That's really cool.
That's because you don't use apps.
Okay.
But a lot of apps like Anki and a lot of different flashcard types apps,
Yeah.
they use spaced repetition. So it's like, it's exactly what you said, where they show you a word, and once you seem like you have it, they won't show it to you. Like they'll show you a new word every day, every time you're on the app. If you consistently get that word correct, they'll show you once every other day, and then once a week, and then once a month, and then they'll say, you have this master, we'll just show you every once in a while.
Interesting. So they took that directly from the Leitner box system then.
They actually did. They absolutely did.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure, I was just looking it up, and I'm pretty sure that's,
Where they got it from?
yeah.
Yeah. See, again, I'm the kind of person who likes to write out materials because I feel like it gives me that kind of connection. I'm not against using apps, by the way. I'm not against that at all. I just...
You using apps today?
Yeah, I was using an app today. I was using Clothesmaster, which is really fun. That one is a test of vocabulary knowledge and grammar by filling in the blanks for sentences, either by listening and speaking or listening and picking a blank or reading and all that.
We're not promoting. Anyway, go ahead.
Good point. So anywho, yes, there's the Leitner box system. Again, it helps you spend less time reviewing material that you already know. And it kind of gives you a nice visual to see, like, how much have you learned? How much have you memorized? I like the physical cards for that reason. It's kind of like having physical books.
What's the name of that system?
Leitner.
Yep,
Leitner. Yep.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah. Cool. So, I like having the physical system because it helps you see what have you learned, how much have you learned, how much do you need to review, and it's really nice that way. Plus, also you can add little notes to it. I like to add little sentences when I'm learning a new verb, so that way I can put a different conjugation or I can see it in different contexts.
It also keeps you from being distracted.
It does keep you from being distracted. Phones are great. They're wonderful supercomputers, but I can't tell you how many times I've been like, ooh, that's a cool verb. Let me go see if I bet I could use it in this context. And then there I go writing out sentences in Google Translate or, going over to, what's the other one there? DeepL to see if I could use the verb in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with that.
My problem isn't that. It's like I'll go on my phone to look at trying to find something I need on, like, let's say Amazon, and next thing you know, I'm scrolling on YouTube for an hour.
When you should have been practicing.
Forgot. No, I just totally forgot what I was doing. This has nothing. This not just with language, it's with anything.
Yeah.
How the phone can just distract you from everything.
It can. It can.
I go open my phone, and the last thing I was looking at, I'm looking at that for another hour instead of what I need to be searching for or find an answer to, and then I totally forget what I was doing.
Yeah, which is another point to, again, everything we've been talking about.
Yeah, because that takes away from that 2 hours you might have a day. Now you have an hour.
Or now you have 15 minutes because you just spent an hour and a half scrolling on TikTok.
On the toilet and my legs are numb. Anyway,
wow.
Go ahead.
The final method for today that I wanted to talk about was concept mapping. And I'm sure that this is in an app somewhere, but I haven't quite come across it. And this you can either do with your cards or without. So something that I like to do, and this might sound kind of silly, but it's actually kind of fun, is when I'm doing dishes or I am, working on a paint by dot piece or something, just something that's a little less brain consuming, is you start with one word in your target language and you concept map. You just pick words that can either mean the same thing or remind you of that word or go in a general family, but you pick a general theme and you just say all the words that go in that theme. You can even play this with a friend or a spouse, especially if you're stuck on a long car ride. Say you have to take an hour to go drive somewhere because you're picking something up off of Facebook Marketplace. And
2 hours.
And you go back and forth just naming different concepts. And when you feel like you finally run out of words that fit under that, you move on to a new one. This can also be done with your note cards, though, in a physical way, which is also kind of fun because you can see how many different combinations you can make. So for instance, maybe you start off with the concept of maybe just say sky, right? In your target language. Let's say your target language right now is English, just for simplicity's sake, because I don't know enough words right now for sky or words that I would associate with sky in Portuguese. So I might say sky, blue, white, clouds, rain, thunder, wind, big, expansive. All of these are just random words, but you are creating connections between these. And that might seem kind of silly, except when you now go and you, I don't know, listen to a Discovery Channel show, or your kid is watching some video in your target language, or maybe you just happen to watch a video yourself in your target language and they start describing a beautiful day outside. Next thing you know, you're going to go, oh, I understand this. Or maybe they use a word in a context that you would not have otherwise thought to use it. Like, again, maybe they're talking about feeling expansive. And now you have this visual of feeling expansive, and it means feeling huge, like the sky. I know that seems kind of silly, but it's really fun. And yeah, again, it's another way to put down your phone and not be distracted and just let your brain go. It can also be kind of relaxing. It's kind of fun to do when you're laying in bed about to go to sleep. It's a great way to tire out yourself, to tire out your brain. Sometimes it can get engaging though, especially if you're playing with a partner, because then it's like, okay, well now, who got the most points, so to speak. So gamify it as well. That's another tip. Gamify your learning. If you're learning with a friend, there you go.
But that is a conversation for next time.
Yeah, that is.
How to gamify. I'm writing it down. That's going to be in part of the next episode.
Yep. Now that's an ADHD tip and trick. I don't have it, supposedly. Really, I've just never been tested. I probably should get tested.
Well, anyway, anything else?
You know more than you think you do. And you just gotta apply yourself. Put down your phone every once in a while. Again, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, and combine those 4 inputs and outputs there, and you'll be all good. That's it.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Practice Makes Polyglot podcast.
Practice Makes Polyglot podcast.
Where we have to actually practice how to say the name of the podcast.
I tried.
It's not just you. I'm struggling also.
It's the R.
Well, if you ever want, you're listening at home, you ever want to practice the name of the podcast, say it 5 times fast and then hit subscribe. But anyway, until next time. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Até logo.